officially get started, welcome everyone on the line to the Core for CED Business Planning Workshop, or webinar, I should say. I am Linda Hembry with the Connection Partnership. I'm the Program Specialist for the CED Department, and I'm so glad that you all have joined us. I have roughly about 70 people registered for the workshop. Now we have about 20 people on the line, and I hope you all are just as excited as I am about being able to get understanding of this business planning workshop. You'll be able to get a better understanding of, do your due diligence if you are planning to either start a social enterprise or some sort of business enterprise at your agency, or if you are working with clients who are small business owners and you're just trying to get some really good, sound principles on to better assist your small businesses in your community to help your program thrive. So just a few housekeeping items as we get started. Would like to mention that the lines are muted, so you're muted because we are recording. I want the recording to come across clear without a lot of noise. And so I have pressed the record now. This recording will be made available for you at the end of the presentation. I will email it to you with the slides that Becky will be going through. And any questions that you have, you can use your Q&A tab there, and you can type in your questions as Becky is presenting. And then what we will do is we will try to get to all of the questions. If we can't get to all of them, we will get to as many of them as we can. You should be able to see video, and in a moment you'll be able to hear the audio from Becky's presentation. If you can't, you can always send a message to me through chat. So also, what I want to do at this point is this is my first time attempting this, so I want to poll you all, and I want you to respond to a question so that we can find out a little bit more about you. So I open up a poll, and when I open the poll, you can answer the question, and then hopefully it'll show up on the screen, but I'll be able to get an understanding of who's on and what type of project you're running. I only have 2 questions, so I'm going to go ahead and attempt to open the poll now and have you all respond to the poll. So you guys can do that. Five minutes listed here, but I don't think it'll take 5 minutes for everybody to respond. Okay, so it looks like we have finished the poll, that poll. And it looks like most of you are product or program directors. So I have a good number of project and program directors. So I'm going to put this poll, and I am going to I guess I have to wait because my system is not letting me open the next one. I only have a question. Yep. Technology is always great. Let's make it easy for you. So, okay. And then we have another question. So I'm going to open this one and ask you all to answer the next question. And that is, maybe I should repeat the question. Is your agency currently operating a CED RAM? Or that? And the other question was about your title. Wait for you all to respond to that one. Okay. So looks like most of you don't currently, so far, most of you don't currently have a operating CED projects so far? No. Okay. Okay. You are probably looking to start something like this, it looks like. So, okay. I'm going to keep it for a little bit, and then we'll move on. Okay. All right, great. For that, Paul, and we're going to get started. Okay. Close this out. And what I'm going to do is introduce Becky. I'll provide you guys a little bit of information about Becky Ney from People Incorporated. She is a graduate of, thank you guys for the survey, by the way. I'm sorry. She's a graduate of Keene College with a Bachelor's of Business Administration. She is a certified credit counselor, licensed business coach, graduate from the Lead Bristol Certified Leadership Development. And she, among her duties at People Incorporated, she does business basics, credit building, customer events, and leadership, social media, and, of course, the 4 planning classes. So Becky has quite a number of duties that she does, as well as speaks to audiences, I believe, regionally and nationally, because I know she'll be speaking at our annual conference, which I hope you all are attending. She provided a workshop, a Core 4 workshop last year, which was very well attended. We got quite a big response about that workshop. So she will be there teaching that and some other workshops, hopefully. So without any further ado, I am going to turn the presentation over to Becky, that she will be able to present to you. You'll be able to see her face pretty soon. So, and then at the end, or the last 10, 15 minutes, probably 10 minutes, I will let you guys ask any questions that you have of Becky or I.
Again, for attending part 1 of the Core 4 Business Planning course. We're actually going to do this over 2 webinars. We have part 1 that's going to cover Core 1 and Core 2, and then we're going to have part 2, which will cover Core 3 and Core 4. It seems like we have a pretty diverse group on here today, which is going to be helpful, hopefully, to a lot of you all that are able. I'm not sure if you all can see me yet. Can you see me now, maybe? Hopefully, it will be very helpful to those of you who are thinking about starting the CED. We have now Core 4. I've been teaching it now, I guess, about 6 or 7 years, and we have found it to be very helpful to folks who are thinking about starting a business or maybe already in business to get the importance of what a business plan and the importance of a business plan over to that entrepreneur. Because a lot of times they will come in to us and they don't understand, never even heard of a business plan. So very helpful when we go to these classes to them. And a lot of times we were able to offer them at no cost because a lot of our clients are not able to afford to go to the colleges and different places to take these classes. So we're going to go through it rather quickly because we are an hour, but I hope that you will gain some knowledge about the course, and then, of course, we can take questions at the end, and as well as if you have additional questions, please feel free to email me. You'll get my contact information, or Linda to find out more about the program. Let's get started. First of all, we're going to talk about the business plan itself. You go to start a business and you're working with someone who is starting the business, one of the first questions I ask them is, do you have a business plan? And so many times they will look at me like a deer in headlights and seem confused. They don't realize they need to have a business plan. Just like if you're building a house, and just like you see on the screen there, you wouldn't build a house without blueprint. You go on a trip without a road map or your GPS. So you need to do the same thing for your business. When you do business, you need to have a plan in order for it to be successful, in order for it to grow. So as we go through the business plan process today, I hope that if you're working with someone or if you're thinking about starting a business, you will understand the process of what it takes to build that plan. I love this program because it helps you, it really breaks it down and makes it very simple. People sometimes are afraid to write a business plan. They immediately think, oh dear, that's something I need to go to college for. So, I really need to help with that. And so they're able to come in and we really put them at ease on how to write the business plan. Now, first of all, the first step you're going to take is in Core 1, we're going to talk about the success planning. Discover what your personal goals are, what the business is going to be, and if you're really able to make time to run a business, if you have all your personal finances in order, because this is the foundation of a good business plan, just like it would be for if building a house. And then the second part of this, which is the longer part of this webinar, is Core 2, and that's the market planning. Today, market planning is more important than ever. That with your business, with any type of business. And I think a lot of it has to do, one, with the social media today. You don't hardly see anyone walking around that don't have their hands on their phone, or a child, especially our teenagers, if it's a business that, or you have a product or service that's offered to youth. You see that a lot of times they'll be walking around with their phones, so we've got to figure out how to reach them. A lot of the small business owners that I work with, they'll always say, I'm not real computer savvy. I'm like, well, you're going to have to be to some point in order to reach those. If not, get a 13-year-old to show you how to do it, or even a 10-year-old at some cases. So in the second part of the Core 2, we're going to talk about promotion, selling, pricing, how to get your product over to the market you're trying to reach, and how to focus on your market. First of all, you need to decide what to be an entrepreneur, if you can be one. Some people will go through this business plan and decide, maybe I don't want to start a business after all. I didn't realize all it would take of me to start a business. Many prospective entrepreneurs are used to thinking like an employee, so it's hard to get them thinking like an entrepreneur instead of an employee. So this chart that you're looking at can be used to help view self-employment in a different way. You've got to remember, you are authorized to make all the decisions in your business, responsible for learning what I need to learn for all the outcomes of my decisions. Meaning, if you pay your taxes, Uncle Sam's not going to say that's okay. It's a part of it. I'm accountable for the success of my business. You've got to realize all the decisions that you make, you can't blame anybody else but yourself. A lot of entrepreneurs that we work with are really good at providing a certain service or a certain product. Maybe it's making a certain product. They don't have a clue on how to keep their books. They don't have a clue on bookkeeping. Maybe it's even customer service. They don't really like dealing with people. So you got to look at everything when you think about starting a business and becoming an entrepreneur. So let's talk about some of the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. We call it the 7 C's, kind of like we talk about when we're talking about credit, but successful business owner characteristics, and we're going to get on some of these. One, you've got to determine if you're capable of the experience, the knowledge to get the job done. Where I need help, I get it. I've done this before in the past. So, are you able and skilled to run the business? Are you competent and have the qualities that you need to be a successful business owner. Second would be commitment. Are you committed? This is a huge one, because a lot of people are not committed to seeing through the business. They think, oh, if I own my own business, I only have to work about 10 hours a week. Well, it's more like 10 plus hours a day. You will find that small business owners, they work 40 plus hours each week. And another characteristic, they'll think, oh, if I'm a business owner, that makes me automatically rich. Well, that's not the case at all. So we've got to get the point across and kind of get them from thinking as an employee to thinking as an entrepreneur. Commitment. Do you finish what you start, no matter what? Are you determined that you want your business to be successful? You're willing to do whatever it takes, if it means working extra hours, going the extra mile for customers, whatever it takes. You got to have that commitment. You got to think about your character. Character means a lot. Not only in trust in your community, what people think about you, but are you willing to listen and learn from others? And do you have the patience to operate the type of market environment that you'll need to encounter? Comfortable in views from other people, as well as taking criticism from other people. And unfortunately, as small business owners, you have to deal with all of these things. You also have to be able to talk to people. I have a lot of folks that I work with from time to time who have a small business, and they're really good at whatever niche it is that they have, that they do not like dealing with people. I'm like, oh, those are your customers. You've got to be able to deal with people. You've got to be able, and if you don't, then you want to be behind the scenes, and you've got to be able to hire someone that can deal with the folks that you want to deal with, whether it's supervising employees, dealing and talking to customers. Maybe it's even dealing with vendors. Going out and dealing with people who you're contracting with. But you have to have that personable person that can go out there and do that. So fourth, capacity. Do you have the personal time and the resources you need to carry out the role that you play in owning a business? And it takes time and tools to be a successful business owner. So you need to ask yourself that question. And collateral. I have businesses all the time. Prior to being a full-time trainer, I used to also do business loans part-time, and then was also a part-time trainer. So I kind of got to see both sides, and I got to also tell some interesting stories in my workshop because of I was learning on the other side doing loans. So when we would do a small business loan, for example, say it would be a $5,000 loan, I would say sometimes, okay, this is $5,000 to purchase a piece of equipment for your business and some inventory you have to bring to the table. And sometimes they would just look at me and go, I have a car that has a clear title on it, but I really don't want to give you that. Well, I had to step back and say, well, I really want to give you $1,000 if you're not willing to give me the title to your car. So you have to be able to risk losing something that you have in order for, if you need funding for your business, in order for me to risk my funding. So people don't look at it that way. They'll say, well, they're wanting you to take the risk, but they're not willing to take the risk. If you really believe in that business and you want it to be successful, you've got to be willing to pledge something of personal value, risk. And unfortunately, some people will decide right then they don't want to do that, and then others do. They're very determined to make the business work. Next one, the sixth one, and I think this is one of the most important ones that you need to look at, is credit worthiness. Have you checked your credit lately? And I know you heard Linda say that I'm a certified credit counselor. There's a reason that I went and got that. We work with a lot of people, do the microloans and some of our loans that really had not credit, but questionable credit. And then there's some that we turned down that had terrible credit. And we're really didn't know where to send them to have it fixed. We didn't really have the money to pay a company to do that. And so I went through the training to be able to help folks now. I mean, we train them, we sit down for them for free, teach them how to get their credit cleared up so they can come back and hopefully get a loan and start that business. And, let them know that it's not the end of the world. We can help them. And they're out, because sometimes they feel like with a lot of the folks that we work with through a community action agency, sometimes we're the last resort. So now we're able to help them, and that's been great. We've also been able to help other agencies by getting their staff trained so they can help. I mean, I know some of you all probably have housing programs, and you also do it through that housing counseling, and that's a great asset to have within the agency. So they're going to look at that. You've got to think about, can you get credit? Can you get a loan if you need it? It could be have all the equipment, all the tools you need for your business, but you not have the credit to say you need some working capital one month. It could be maybe you have a couple months a year that's your slow month. So you need to have a way that you can access some money in order to keep your business up and running should you fall in hard times. And then the last one is contingency. Are you prepared if something unforeseen happens? And it's not, it's when instead of if. It's really called life, but when something goes wrong, not if something's wrong, what will you do? How often have you readjust your plan and change your mind or try something else? It happens. And so in business, something will always go wrong. In our personal lives, something will always go wrong. We never know what or when, but we know it will. So you got to have a contingency plan in place. And if you do, then we're going to be prepared to adjust, to rethink, or change course in a strategic way to help us keep our balance and stay in step. Because if you have that what-if plan in place, you could run into trouble, and it could cause your business to fail. So you be prepared for the change, and you got to have those strategies in place. Once you meet all of these characteristics and you really look at yourself, then you decide, is this business for me? I do it. Able to do it. And so we're going now to the next slide, and when you start writing your plan, you're going to verify it and validate it all the way through the business plan. And each step of the way, I want you asking yourself, is my plan feasible? Is my plan viable? Is my plan desirable? So each step of the way, ask yourself those questions. And you'll find that if you continue to do it, then you're going to be successful if it is desirable and feasible and viable. So again, to the market planning, if you decide you can be an entrepreneur, we're going to get you right into the marketing. And I like this slide because you're comparing apples to oranges, and so then you also want to be that one that sticks out from the rest. You want to be that one that people want to buy their products from. And as we go through the marketing part, we're going to talk about focusing on the market. And this will be the first floor of your plan. Many people will write the business plan, but they will leave out the marketing part of the plan. I never understand that. Because if you know who your market, who you're going to sell to, it's going to be hard for that business to be successful. So this is actually one of my favorite parts to work with folks on. And we workshop sometimes, just a 3-hour workshop just on marketing. Because honestly, we could stay here all day and talk about marketing. Now, I know I don't want to do that, but I could. I like marketing. So as through, we'll talk about the products and services, how you're going to distribute those, who your customers, find your customers, or the industry that you're looking for, or that you're in, who's your competition? Who's your competition going to be? And Okay, now, just real quick, I'm just curious if I could ask who may be thinking of starting a for-profit on their agency. And I don't know if we can poll that or not, but that's something that I would like to know, if possible. Okay, now, right along, talking about the marketing, you've got to figure out how you can reach your customer. Once you're figuring out, okay, who's my customer going to be, what's the best way to reach them? So you don't have to do your market research. And sometimes people can get lazy on this, so they don't want to think about that. They're like, well, buy from me. They'll come to me. We don't know that. And one, you have to figure out who you're talking about and really if they will. So with the market research, who are your customers? This is questions that you need to answer. You know, and I even do this in the that I'm currently in to try to reach the people I need to attend my workshop. You know, I think about who are my customers, and how about potential customers, who could be, and so you kind of start jotting down all of this, as well as, okay, now describe your customers. Then figure out where they're at. You know, you meet them at trade shows, do you meet them on the street, do there people that come into your office, do you meet them at chain luncheons? Where do you meet your customers? And are you offering the right product, service for the times right now, for the market right now? So here's some tools that can help you in coming up with those answers. You know, the internet, there's a lot of stuff you can find. I Google everything. If I need a question answered, a lot of times I'll Google it. I'll just ask, and we all have the smartphones, so a lot of people, or even if I'm at work on my computer, if I stumble up on something and I need a question answered, I'll just type it into Google. So, you know, ask questions or search the internet. You also do customer surveys. This is something that people are always willing, and I know you all are probably like me when you go shopping now. Just about everywhere I go, they have a receipt. They do a little, if you'll do this survey, you get 5% off or 10% off your next visit, or you have free gift, or whatever it is. Offer a free gift. I like free things. I'll usually, you know, take a survey if it means that, or if it gets me a coupon for something, or as we say in Southwest Virginia, or my mother says, she calls it a coupon. So I call it a coupon, but she calls them coupons. So if you come to our area, that's what they'll call them. But that's another way to get people to take your surveys. And I see that we have the little question, the poll question up now that you all can answer. So when you have a chance, there's a 5-minute limit on it, but if you all will answer that real quick, I would appreciate it. And then there's also groups that you can join, you know, according to the type of business that you have. Your chambers, your local chambers, there could be, I know as far as with our agency, any groups that I can join that I can reach entrepreneurs, people in small business or our target market, I go and participate in our meetings, you know, to get the word out about our products and, our programs. And with a lot of people, like communication agencies or even the small businesses I work with, we have a marketing budget of 0. So it's really hard to get the word out, you know, or where I have to buy things. So anytime I can find a reason to speak at a meeting, or if they ask me to, that's another way to get the word out. You know, attend chamber functions, attend business after hours, attend breakfasts, bankers' breakfasts, whatever it is I can do. I'm always up for doing that. And you can shop your competition. This will also help you when you're trying to decide what to charge people and to see what kind of customer service they have. There's a whole number of things. You can continue to shop your competition throughout your business. I mean, as long as your business is going. Okay, now let's see. Did you all get the poll that I hope that we put up there? I hope you can do that. You can see that. Okay. Now, to move this a little bit, what figure out, who your customers are, who you're trying to reach. You can then move on to actually writing your marketing plan. And your marketing plan, let me switch to the next slide. There it is. Once you start reading that marketing plan, you'll determine by the time you get done with this, where customers are at and the type of marketing you need to do. To have it all up here, it's just a matter of getting it down on paper, and it's only something that you can do. So we'll start with market strategy, your geographical location. Depending on what type of business that you have, it could be that you're marketing it on the internet, or it could be just something local. We work in Southwest Virginia, I work with a lot of artisans, and I was meeting with a group the other day, and we were talking about their geographical location and the customer trying to reach, and they said it's mainly on the artisan trails or trade shows or craft shows. That's really where we sell our products. And some had not even thought about the internet, unfortunately, and thought about, there's Etsy, which is like eBay for artisans, or eBay to sell their products. So I was trying to get them focused on maybe they could get and expand a little more by having an idea of where they needed to go to sell their products. You also have the customer segmentation. Who's likely to buy your product? You've got to determine that, and who or your service. I've got to buy on here, but it could be when you're thinking about your CED, who is likely to need your service. Then when you're talking about the product or service strategies, identify your product or service and what it will do for me. You've got to sell, people buy things based on their gut feeling, or they go after a service based on a need. It's all in what's in it for me. And we do the same thing. We see things, but we usually buy things from, what's inside here. And we've got to think we're getting good value. We've got to think we're getting good quality on things. So think about that and think about how you can get across to people what something can do for them, because that's what you're really selling. You're naming your business, and this is kind of switching gears a little bit, but as we go into naming your business, you've got to really think about a name that work. And this is actually a customer that I worked with. This was the name of her business. It's not now, but the name of the business was Enterprise. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I have no idea what Sue does. I have no idea. And I told her, I said, if I could see a sign on the outside of your business, I wouldn't have a clue what you do. I probably wouldn't stop in there. Now, if it says Sue's Pottery or Sue's Cupcakes or, whatever she sells, I might have been in there. But it's actually a bakery. She does sell cupcakes and cakes and things like that. So, that would have been helpful as far as me to know that. But she wanted to name it Sue's Enterprise because that made her sound really big. Made her business sound like it was a big enterprise. And I told her that that's not going to really matter if you don't have anybody coming in. You're only going to be, only as big as your customers that come in and buy from you and as you grow. So going to be hard to grow unless people really know what you're selling. So think about that when you're naming your business. It's very important that you do. And we talk about pricing. That's something else when you're marketing your business and you're talking about prices. Is cheap always better? Not necessarily. I want to buy quality when I want to buy something that's cheaper, and I'll pay $1 more for something. It's something I know that's good quality. I'm going to pay more for it. So think that you have to outprice your competitors, underprice them, just to get them. I laugh. I have a friend that has a store in downtown Bristol, and it's a kind of a new store. It has they sell cigars, so we don't have cigar stores, on every block. But so people will come in all the time, and well, all the time, but sometimes when looking around, she can tell they're her competitors, because she's steady looking, and they'll be like, she'll say, "Can I help you?" And she's like, "No, I'm just looking. We're just looking." Well, you usually just don't walk into a cigar store to just look. Most of the time, people know what they want. They go in and get it and leave. So, and they're checking prices. Is what her competitors are doing. And okay, because you need to do that. But in something like that, her prices are probably pretty much set on everything. But that somebody's trying to sell something cheaper than what she has it for. So when you go into pricing components and your screen, it's broke down into 3 sections, okay? You've got your product and this cost, okay? It has your variable cost in it. That's your labor that you have, your direct labor that you have, the raw materials, what part you're using for resale, any commission, what goes into the packaging, any shipping charges you're going to have, that's your product and service cost. Then you get to the overhead cost of the product, and that's your fixed cost. This is going to be things that you pay every month, that's your rent, utilities, payroll insurance, and then your owner's draw, anything like that that's a fixed cost that you're going to automatically pay each month. You've got to also put in there the value. This is just perceived. It's your business profit for you. But then think about it for the customer. What are you selling? The image, the service, the warranties, the expertise, the convenience. And so people are going to buy things based on all of that. So you've got to put that value in there. And sometimes when you lower that cost so low, I think it drops down in the value. So you've really got to think about that when you're pricing your product. Now let's talk about then how you promote this product. It seems like a lot of times now people are getting paid from running ads in the newspaper. And a question I always ask in my classes is, how many of you all a newspaper, still take the newspaper every day and read it? And really it's a small show of hands because so many people now read it online, or they get their news online or whatever comes on their phone. Is how they read the news. They don't even get the newspaper to see all the little ads. And it's very, very expensive to do that. And I know I don't get run ads very often, and if I do, they're very expensive. So I really try to find ways that are ways to advertise the business. So that's another thing that's expensive that you have to think about, and the radio can be expensive as well. And a lot of times it's short. You've got depends on the market you're trying to reach. I've done a few radio ads that's been actually for free. I think they just needed a mint filler for a reason or whatever. But and I went to do those, and it's been also I don't know how many responses. I didn't get to poll it to see if it worked and really look at it. But I think the radio sometimes might be better than the paper, but at the same time, I don't have funding to do that, so I have to look at another way. The next one I'll talk about is video. If you'll think about a YouTube video, and people forget this, but and I know I can't see your hands if you raised them right now, but how many of you have watched a YouTube video? Well, I'm pretty sure probably most of you have watched a YouTube video. We all have some way. We on our emails, we get all kinds of stuff on YouTube, but businesses forget that that's a good way to advertise your business. And also it's free. That's the beauty of it, is that it's free. And then also you can, if you have a product or maybe a service, I know at People Inc. we have a YouTube channel. It has People Inc. workshops. It's just like a minute or two clips or so of our workshops, but it gives people an idea if they're thinking, yeah, I might attend that one, I wonder what it's about. They can go on there and click on the workshop and hear just a couple minutes of it to see if it's something they're interested in. Again, that's free. So that's another free way you can market your agency or your business, whatever it is that you're doing. And I keep stressing the free part, but that's important to me. Also, talk about surveying your clients and customers. That's important as well. I survey my clients after every workshop that I do. I think, and I don't mind if they give me, I really want more of this and less of this. I'll ask them what's the most meaningful part of the workshop, what's the least meaningful part. And if I find that over a time period that more people are leaning towards the least meaningful part of a certain section, I'll get out and put more of the meaning part in. But that's another idea. Another one is Facebook. How many of you are on Facebook? And how many of you, your agency is on Facebook? We have a People Inc. Facebook page, and I always ask everyone in our workshops to like our page. You'll find out when we're doing workshops. You'll find out, because you'll get those updates. We don't update every day and bombard you every 10 minutes and tell you when we all go to the restroom like some people do on Facebook. But we will put important messages on there about our agency. So I always tell people to like us on Facebook. And that's another way, if you put your business on there, your agency on there, they can actually see, and you'll find there's a Facebook page, business page for just about everything. I mean, there's one for McDonald's sweet tea fans. There's one for, let's say, Outback. They have a free bloomin' onions, what they've done before, if you like their page. I mean, little offers like that, that can help your business. I was in a town the other night and was doing a workshop downtown and at their local library, and right before I went down there, one of the businesses had popped up on my Facebook and said they had half-price sushi that night. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'm going to be downtown. I'm going to happen to go there. And so, I mean, it worked out. They got my business as well as some of the people in my class because I mentioned it, and then I got the whole class craving sushi. So we all went. So it worked out good. You don't realize the power of social media until you use it. And this goes into, are you going to put your business online? This can be pricey if you don't have an internet business. If you don't already have that website built. And a lot of times people will say, I don't have a clue how to do that. And it's probably very pricey to get it online. But until you get to that point, look at the item at a time or putting your business on eBay. Another way that it costs, but it's very, very cents on the dollar. It's very minimal. So that's something else that you could do. So you have a poll question that's popped up that just out of curiosity, how many of you all have a Facebook page for your agency? If you'll take a second and answer that one. And then also Twitter. How many of you all tweet? This is another thing. I was kind of one of the last ones, I think, to ever get on Twitter. But once you do, it's very addictive. You can tweet things for your agency, tweet. I know community action partnerships. I keep up a lot of times with a lot of the workshops or what they're doing because they'll tweet it. And I enjoy getting that. And it's just a short little, something. We're doing this today, or, if it's one of their conferences, anything, they will have it on there. And I think that's a good thing. And then there's the good old coupon I was talking about. Coupon, I do know how to say it, that I was talking about. People love coupons. It's kind of crazy. But even a lot of our workshops that we offer at no cost, if we give away, a free, you can end it free and get a gift, get a free prize, whether it could be one of our little entrepreneur books, or anything small. But people love coupons, and we'll take advantage of that. Then you have Pinterest, and that's kind of the new and growing thing. I've been learning a lot about this recently, and it's going to be, I think with Pinterest, it may outgrow the other ones. I don't know how many of you all are on Pinterest, and that's another one I've been playing with, but it is great for our entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you why. If they make or have a product that they can display some way, they can pin it. And you'll see if you all are not familiar with Pinterest, it's that key down there in the bottom right-hand corner. That is a great way to market your product. And I know I was talking about the artisans earlier, but I had one that makes pottery, and she said she will put one piece of her pottery displayed each time, but she will put it on Pinterest. One day she may put it as a base. One day she, with a big flower arrangement in it. Another day she may have it decorated for a season. But she's getting there's more referral clicks coming from Pinterest than you're getting from Facebook right now. And that's a fact. So that's pretty big. But as you can see, social media is very important. Social media is growing. It's very helpful to businesses because the reason it's grown at a high rate of speed is because there's lots of us that can't afford to market businesses. And so it's a free way to get the word out, a free way to reach our customers. And it's also very important to keep up with people who are your competition. And I've had actually some businesses that will say, I don't want to get on there. I don't want to get on Facebook because it gives people opportunity to say something negative about me. And you know what? They're saying it anyway, whether you know it or not. If there's something negative, they're going to find it and they're going to say it. So why not be able to monitor it? And some companies now will just have it to where people are just keeping up with what's out there about them. You can put it on your Google Alerts, and I have it right now on my Google Alerts to where anytime anything is said about People Incorporated or myself or our workshops, it automatically alerts me. And that's so good. It's alerted me when it's been in a newspaper somewhere that I might not have, known about otherwise because I don't get the paper. And we put a lot of counties, so I always get to see and read all the papers from all the counties. So if it happens to be on there and it goes on the Internet, I get alerted about it. So that's important. But it's a good idea because that way you can monitor what's being said about you out there. So I'm going to go on a little bit to say, once you're getting it out there, your information out there, then you need to shop your competition. Your competition, find out, what's their strengths, what's their weaknesses. You might even learn something about yourself by doing that, by shopping others that you didn't even realize, that you're doing the same thing and didn't even realize you're doing the same thing. Then when you've got to go in and consider, okay, as I said, marketing budgets, if you're like us, our budget is zero, so I don't have a lot of money to work with, so I have to be creative in that. And I have to check out all my free resources. And many startup entrepreneurs don't have a lot of money for marketing, so be creative and determine what the free resources are that you can find out there. once you do that, you have to measure your performance, okay? And you're like, well, how do I do that? And again, it's going back to surveying your customers. Ask them. And I ask people even in my workshops, how'd you hear about us? You know, and 9 times out of 10, it'll be, I read something on Facebook or on your LinkedIn account or on Twitter, or, you know, a lot of times it's through free resources. And very few times will it be through, or it may be a newsletter. I try to get on every newsletter that we can in the community that we're off the workshop. That way they can hear about it. But measure your performance. Find out what's working and what's not. The same for your business. That way you'll know. When you're measuring those and you figure out the high-impact strategies, for one, you want to survey your customers. We already talked about that one. Follow up with them. And what I'm about that, I have several businesses that all give me a birthday card. As simple and as silly as that seems, you know, that once a year I get that birthday card from them and immediately think about them. I mean, like, well, you know, and so when I do need something, I usually go back to them. So that's an easy way to follow up. But it can be a number of ways. It don't have to be with a birthday card. It could be, you know, whatever. But 1 year or so, follow up with them, see how things are going. You can also write an article or write a press release. We do this all the time. And, you know, press releases don't cost anything. You're not sure if they're going to get in the paper or not, but a lot of times they do. And so that's a free way that it could be, you know, something simple. It could be that you're releasing a new service or new product, or, you know, you're now offering a new workshop that's brand new, whatever it is. But you can write that press release, short and simple and sweet, and it, you know, at least gets in your paper. Have online presence, and like I said, even if it's not with a website, if you can't do a website, you can do Facebook. You know, that's free. It takes you all of a minute to sign up and do that. Or you could, you know, use Twitter or even LinkedIn. I like LinkedIn a lot and use it. Or start a blog and keep writing a blog and stay up to date. Keep people up to date with what you're doing. Okay, then you can offer free samples, free gifts. Like I said, people love free stuff. It don't have to be anything expensive. You do something little. But, you know, fill out a survey, we'll give you a free gift. It could be as simple as giving them your business card with a coupon on the back that says, next time you come in, $5 off. You know, next time for your referral, we'll give you a gift. Very simple things. You can also, through seminars, you can offer demonstrations of your product. Signage. If you don't have signage, whether you're a retail business and you have a storefront or not, no sign is a sign of no business. So for that, it's important to have that business signage. And there's the good old coupons again, so don't forget those. And then stay alert to what's going on around you. Stay up to date all the time. Stay in the same rut. And I'm even the same with presentations. I constantly, if you heard the same presentation again next month, it'll probably be totally different because I'm constantly changing it and updating it with the times. Don't get to plan. Everyone has to have a calendar. And I do have my calendar on my phone, but I also have a calendar that without this, I am lost. I mean, I might as well go ahead and crawl in a grave if I lose that book, because I have it planned for almost the entire year, everything that I do. And so if you plan it, you're going to be successful and make it happen. But if you're not planning it, it's going to be hard to do that. So make sure that you have great plans and you plan well ahead of time. I've started even planning some stuff into January of next year. But and maybe some of you all, I've got some of the folks that I work with some of our core agencies that are planning through the, you know, a whole next year, through June, is what I mean. So, you know, it's not a bad thing to plan. another thing to offer incentives, and I've already kind of talked about these, is coupons for the future discounts, offering a free product, offering something for referrals, surveying your customers, and get more than expected. Sometimes I will go somewhere and they throw in a free item, or they say, I may give at our workshops, maybe someone through under I've been able to get some, 10 books of something. I give them out on marketing or whatever it is. And I appreciate that. Give more than is expected. Also, customer service, and everyone laughs all the time at this picture, but, you got to be able to hear your customers, listen to your customers. It's very important, because if you don't, they're going to get their message across just like in this picture. The message is loud and clear. Even though we can't hear it, their message is loud and clear. But no customers equals no business. Same for us as an agency. No clients equals no agency. You've got to stay on top of it and make sure you provide good customer service at all times, because if not, what they're going to do is, and with social media, and I've already been talking about it, they will put it on Facebook, they will tweet it, they will do everything they can. And as a community action agency, we don't need anything negative being said, that we're serving our clients as we should. So be real cautious about being good to your customers and providing good customer service, and making sure everyone that's the face of your agency or the face of your business provides excellent customer service, because you know who you're talking to or who's watching. It's very important. Now, just a few minutes. I think I still have a few minutes for questions. So I'll turn it back over to Linda real quick. Answer any questions that you all might have for me about the presentation. I know I went through it kind of quickly, but we were kind of pressed for time.
Okay, you see one question here. I can do it. I see that Paul has a question. Is this course provided in an online format? Well, you can just go ahead and answer that.
Can you hear me okay? It's not offered online as of right now. That's something that they are currently working on to offer it online, and we've even thought about offering it through webinars, of course, really broken down, because this course, if I truly teach the entire course, each core takes 3 hours. So it's really a 12-hour course that we're breaking down to, half-hour segments kind of thing, because we really go in deep with a lot of these things. But at the end, you will have a written business plan. And so when we're working with clients and folks, we usually do it like over a 4-hour, actually it's a 12-hour course, but we do it over a like night or something.
I don't see any other questions. Oh, here comes one more. Robert is asking, is a source we can go to and review successful CED projects? I will answer that one. We have at partnershipced.org, we have some information under our website. We have a few on you can go to the Webinar tab. On top, I'm just visualizing it, that's why you see me looking up. You can also go onto our website. There's a few, there's some information there about a few of the agencies that have established projects, and we even have some videos of their projects. You can also go to communitypartnership.com, and on the far right, you'll see the job tab, and that has some case studies of the CED projects and agencies that have endeavored and actually ventured into social enterprises. And I believe some of our United Planning Organization folks are on the line with us. Their project is there. They did their weatherization into profit. We'll have an agency in Buffalo that used gardening as a project that worked for them, and they're actually these social enterprise projects and marketing them and making money from that. At this point, we are really close. We are at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I'm going to email you Becky's presentation, and it will have everything she talked about today, and to let you know, Becky, I'm asked you to put the slide up, but it's on me. So so June 28th, part 2, we'll be talking about cash flow planning, operation planning, and finalizing the plan. So you can register again if you haven't already for that webinar, as well as after this webinar is over, you'll get the presentation, the recording, as well as I would like for you to take a brief survey that will have about 5 questions for you to answer so that we can better understand what it is that you want and, of course, see how we're doing. So hopefully you can do that, and I will also email any questions that we didn't get to. I don't think we have any additional ones, but if we have any that come up, I can email those to Becky, and she will be happy to provide you with the answer to the question. This is information here, so if you want to email her directly, there is her contact information, and of course I'm available at L. Hembry at the CommunityActionPartnership.com, L. Hembry at CommunityActionPartnership.com, and you can ask me any questions as well. So we thank you all for attending, and hopefully you'll be joining us for part 2. All right. Thanks to everyone.
Thanks, everyone.